Hello, my name's Sheer Cart. I'm 20 years old, currently living and going to school in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, but I'm originally from Dallas, Texas. I'm here to kind of share my story on when and how I contracted COVID-19. I'm doing this because I see people still on the beaches in Florida, people are still hanging out with their friends and they're like, I'm young, I'm immune to it, I can't contract it. And the problem is you can. Like, I didn't think I would ever get it. My friends didn't think, I would ever get it, and I did. And it's so unfortunate. And I was on a study abroad trip, school sponsored, to Ireland. We were there for 10 days, best opportunity I've honestly ever experienced. We were teaching in Irish schools, traveling, really seeing things that I really never would have been able to see without this trip. So on Wednesday, the 11th, I woke up at 5 a.m. and I had major chest pains, like piercing pains right around my heart and then right under my chest, just on the left side. If I took too deep of a breath, it was like complete pain, complete and utter pain. I called my parents and they looked up a clinic, and the clinic didn't open till 8 a.m., so I had to wait. So at around 9 a.m. on the Wednesday, my friend who was also on the trip with me, she'd already been exposed to me, she drove me to the clinic. I went to the clinic, and at that point they did no tests or anything. They were just taking my heart rate, kind of seeing how my breathing was. I really just wanted them to check out my chest. At that point, my heart rate was all the way up at a 130, so it was super high, so they sent me to the ER. So my friend sent me to the ER, and then I told them I traveled overseas, and automatically they went full hazmat suits, put me in an isolated room. I was wearing a mask, nurses, doctors were wearing a mask. They were wearing gowns, gloves, everything. They immediately put an IV in me, were giving me meds, fluids, taking my blood. They did a flu test, strep test, RSV test. I didn't know it yet, but they'd actually done a COVID test. Several other just different types of viruses they thought maybe that I had. So I got to the ICU, and they, put me on IV fluids, IV meds. Nurses kind of explained what was going on. So my chest x-ray showed that my left lung was almost full of fluids. You see in the articles like the opaque lungs and the x-rays, that's basically what my left side looked like. So that's what was causing the coughing and the chest pains, was the filled lung. So I spent the night at the ICU Wednesday. I woke up Thursday and they wanted to do a CAT scan. So they were preparing my wheelchair. The nurse came in to put my mask on, put my gloves on, get me ready to leave. And that's when I got the call from the CDC, or from the Florida Health Department, that I did test positive for COVID-19. So at that point, it got very emotional. I had to call the people that I went on my Ireland trip, that they were exposed to someone that had it. It was very emotional. It was very hard. Beforehand, my friends and I, we had not really taken this seriously as much as I wish we had. I was kind of like, this could never affect me. There's no way it would affect me at all. And so I'm kind of here, telling my story because I want young people to realize that it does affect us and we have to take it seriously. So I was put on an oxygen machine on Saturday because I woke up and there was about 2 feet between my bed and my bathroom. And I woke up on Saturday and, I had a straight cough attack, dry heaving, could not breathe on my own, and was in so much pain, I could not get back to my bed to sit down, but exerting that much energy of walking to the bathroom was too much on my lungs. So they put me on oxygen, and I was on oxygen until I was discharged on Tuesday. I know social distancing is hard. Trust me, I'm on day 15 of quarantine, and I'm the most friendly, outgoing person and I've had to start talking to a wall, really. It's hard, and I get it. But the problem is while it may not affect you as a young person, if you go home and your parents or your aunts or your grandparents are just a little older, have someone, your sister has a weaker immune system, something, it can affect them, and it'll affect them a lot worse than you. And as hard as it is and as much as it sucks, we need to distance ourselves from people so that this virus can go away. while I was in the hospital, my parents did end up flying from Texas. They were unfortunately, though, only allowed to come into the hospital twice, and they only were allowed to see me through a glass wall for about 5 minutes. They were not allowed to stay long. I wasn't really allowed to stay in contact with them for too long, and it wasn't even really contact. We were separated by a wall. It was very hard doing this alone. I'd like to say I was positive the entire time. I kept a smile on my face, I laughed, but that wasn't only for me, it was for my family, just to kind of show them like I am strong and I could do it alone. Because I am so far away from home, being Florida to Texas, it's a really far distance from my entire family.